we keep hearing this as a buzzword everywhere, innovation. So innovation seems like very exciting thing to do. And when we think of innovation, the first thing that comes across our mind is somebody doing some kind of research and coming up with something very, very new, out of the world, never heard, never seen before. Okay. Let's discuss whether that is actually true or there is something more to that story. That is one part of it. The second part of it is that the reality is that innovation is actually a cornerstone today, even in corporate circles. And people are discussing about sustainable ways of getting people to innovate. Okay, making people innovate, think from a different angle, and start thinking of newer solutions for common problems. So these are some things that are happening in corporate circles also. So let me not talk too much about it, and I want the platform to be shared by all of you to contribute your views on the subject as you are moving, transitioning from the campus to the corporate sector. So what you feel is going to happen in the corporate sector, or what you feel as of now is happening in the corporate sector. Both these opinions are very, very critical today. So before we get on, just to get to know each other, I request one round of introductions from each of you. Maybe we can start with the only male panelist right now with us. So we can start with, generally it is ladies first, but in this case, we'll go with gents first. So Rohit, over to you.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. I would like to start with thank you for providing me an opportunity to speak my thoughts on this platform. And by the way, my name is Rohit, and I'm currently pursuing postgraduate diploma in management from JB's Bangalore. I'm currently specializing in human resources and operations supply chain. So it's a dual degree course. And I'm not much of a experienced guy, but I'm currently a fresher. So I believe this session is more apt for me to come out of my thoughts, so I can share my thoughts with you, all of you. And apart from experience, like I have a 3 months of experience working as an intern as a HRBP from Reddington. And yeah, that's pretty much all about me.
Great. Welcome, Rohit. So let's move on to uh, Manipal directly. So let's start with Neha and then
Right.
Mishri.
Hi, everyone. My name is Neha. I'm currently a BBA graduate. I'm pursuing my honors program to be exact. And this is like very last minute, like the way I suddenly realized my true passion into research. And I'm currently pursuing in the field of marketing. And in fact, one of my faculties is who actually got me this opportunity. So thank you so much, sir, also for that. And yeah, when sir first told me that, so was expecting all like MBA graduates. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? What am I going to say? But then it was very nice talking to him and like understanding that it's just ultimately what we as the young generation of tomorrow expect and what are we thinking is going to be expected of us in the corporate world. So I'm very excited to see what you all have to say, and also hopefully I can input some stuff that are actually very beneficial to us. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Neha.
Thank you, sir.
Mishri, over to you.
Hi everyone. So my name is Mishri and I'm also currently studying in Mahe Manipal. I'm doing my master's in digital and creative marketing, and my program coordinator kind of gave me this opportunity to be over here. So thank you to him and to Sid Baliga sir for this amazing opportunity. I came across the subject of innovation very recently in my coursework in my second semester, where we had a subject called creativity and creative and critical thinking, and innovation was a part of it. So I have studied it very recently, and not in an in-depth manner. So like today I would really like to focus on what you all have to say and what is currently going on in the corporate world and what is expected of us as well, and how it was different back in the days and how it's different now. So really excited for today, and thank you so much again for this opportunity.
I will try as much as possible not to be biased, but can't help it much. I am a product of MIT Manipal. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back to Bangalore. Safreen.
Yeah, hi everyone. Myself, Safrin Kausar. I basically belong to Chennai, but I'm currently studying here in Bangalore, and I'm from Christ University. So I'm doing my PG, that is MBA. Mine is dual specialization, like Rohit, but different. Like I'm a finance person. Finance and international business is my dual specialization, And I'm also a kind of fresher, and I have like only internship experience. And I would like to thank my class ma'am, Dr. Aishwarya, and Sid sir. So he was very much supportive, and whatever I ask, he's like in a quick way of response. And I would like to thank him a lot. And I would like to thank this opportunity, especially my class ma'am and also this sir. And that's pretty much about it.
Great. Thank you so much and welcome all of you again. So let's start off with one round of understanding what innovation means to each of you. First of all, the concept of innovation. So we can start with Safreen only and go in the reverse order this time.
Okay. Yeah, according to me, like I was like prepared with a quote to start with. Like, education is not preparation for life. Education itself is a life. So this was told by John Dewey. So I actually believe that. And according to me, innovation in education is finding something new which we don't know, which we are not aware of. If like it's like a product that comes into the market and suddenly goes up and just reaches the saturation point like that. So according to me, I feel that innovation is that. And nowadays the innovation is like more than books. We juggle with gadgets and everything. So I feel that one of my professor was so much about this thing, and he told that there is a research which is going on, and by 2030 or 2040 around, like nobody will be sitting in the college and studying. Our avatars will be roaming around, and our education will be in that format. And also after COVID also we can see that there is not a single house without a phone. There is not a single guy or single schoolboy or school student or college anyone, maybe all have the access to gadget, and all even who were not there during COVID, they come under the category to study with the gadgets and update themselves with it. So I feel that I believe that our avatars will be roaming in 2040 instead of us. They will be getting everything, and we'll be in the sitting in one place. Even though it makes us lazy, but still it is like the advancement. We have to get upgraded with it and all the things. So this is innovation according to me.
Lovely. I think I should have been in college in 2040. Attending classes is such a boring thing, right? I could have just sent my avatar there to do all that work. Great. Mishri, what are your views?
Oh, first of all, I would like to say, Safreen, that is a very nice thing to share. I mean, I was not aware of it at all. So thank you so much for sharing that. Like, just to think about it, like, imagine that our avatars will be learning instead of us is something quite great. And, it just shows how technologically advanced this world is. So that is where, like, I would also tell that innovation is more about, like, us fostering our own growth in a way, and just whatever dynamic changes we are going through right now, and what the country is going through or the whole world is going through, implementing that in our lives and making sure we use it till the core of it, so that that can bring positivity and make sure that we can nurture it around us, so that we can grow with it and not just stay at a stagnant place. So that is innovation for me from a personal perspective. But as a perspective where I would like to say innovation in the whole world would come about with, like, making sure that our creative ideas never stop flowing, and not just letting them be there in theory in a book, writing it down with a pen, like making sure we execute them, implement them, so that that can not just help us but people around us as well. So innovation, I think, goes hand in hand when it is like goes hand in hand not just with our personal growth but with the growth with people of people around us. So that, according to me, is innovation.
Brilliant. I think the point about not being stagnant and allowing the creative ideas to flow, I think that's a very valid point. In fact, regarding the avatar part, there is already a tool I think which is doing rounds nowadays. That tool can watch your YouTube videos and give you important points. So that's already happening. So very soon, I think, as Safreen said, somebody else would attend the class and bring back notes for you. Great. Neha.
Actually, sir, coming on your point, it's not just for YouTube. There's like a myriad of tools available for almost any platform at this point. Like one of our sirs for our research papers, in fact, saying at this point, a research paper is no more going to be about your writing. It's just going to be about analysis because the tools are there to do it for you. So that is actually true. But yeah, actually, I wanted to basically combine what Safrin and Mishri said. So to me, so first, when you're starting a business, right, it's all about passion for me. Like even if it's a job that you don't like, you try to find it in a way that it's a passionate job for you, right? And with that in mind, when it comes to the word innovation, I think creativity, I think application of something so unique, something that's you. Innovation stems not just from the company or the business model or anything that you're trying to achieve. It's also coming from you trying to be a unique version of yourself. Because I feel like your personality is your business's personality. So like that's why she was mentioning avatars are gonna come up, and Mystery is also saying like creativity is the main stem, right? The one that like grows a tree of innovation. So to me, innovation is basically how unique you can be to build a company or a business model that fosters positive change, essentially.
Great. We'll come back to this point later again. You said we have to be unique. So I think we have to discuss about that point, all of us. So before we get there, Rohit, want to hear your views.
Sure, sir. Actually, happy to hear different thoughts on innovative. But I'd like to start with something. There is always a need to innovate, but not everything needs innovative products. Because all people, when everyone come to think about innovation, the first thing that comes to their mind is an innovative product. But it's not the case. You don't need something out of the blue to make yourself an innovator. There are multiple things. So I believe it's just tapping the right things at the right moment. So it automatically gives you a sense of new perspective, a broader view to look into the world. So like obviously, innovation is not a rocket science, but it's not a simple thing to master either. So like if you can bring about a different perspective as what people look into something, it automatically comes under the bracket of an innovation, right?
Right.
Uh,
Go on.
yeah.
Somebody wants to say something?
Yeah, but the thing is, I agree to your point. But even to give the different perspective on what is bought, it was bought by someone, right? So don't you think that is the innovation involved there?
Yeah, right. But uh, like I can give you an example. Like if you can take
Mhm.
an example of Apple. Okay,
Yeah.
so Apple is famous for their innovative iPhones that actually brought the revolution. So, but if you come to think about it, the innovative iPhones are just a part of it. What
Okay.
stands iPhone from the other company is that the brand image. So that is what Steve Jobs made something as an innovative thing. Because there are companies who are producing flagship mobiles like Samsung. You can name anything. They are bringing the flagship mobiles, but what separates Apple is that brand image. Like if you can take we people as Gen Z, when we come to think about buying a mobile phone, the first option which we come to think about is Apple. We'll start with Apple, then we move on to the next products. So that thing, that part is what Steve Jobs as a CEO of Apple who brought that innovation.
Okay. So you are telling the innovation is behind the person's mind, not on the product which is created by him.
Yeah, like innovation is all about the people because we
Okay.
people are the one who drives that.
Okay.
Great. Good, valid points. Thank you so much. So moving on to our next question, maybe I can start with Mishri this time. Uh, can innovation become a process in corporates? It cannot be that we have to wait for an Archimedes to suddenly get an idea and say eureka, eureka. So we cannot wait for somebody to say eureka one day and come up with an idea and then execute that idea. Or like Rohit said, Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs is a larger than life personality. Okay, so how do we create more and more Steve Jobs is what I am no more interested to know about.
Right. So now that's a very unique question. Like, not everyone can think that innovation can be a process. That question doesn't really come to everyone's mind because everyone thinks creativity can be a process, or thinking can be a process, but innovation can be a process is something what people will like, take a seat back and not really think about it. So thank you a lot for asking that question, because even I'll need a bit 2 minutes to think about it. Just a second. But to start off, I think, like my previous point, innovation stems from creativity for me. So we all know creativity is a process. Like if you have an idea, you build upon that idea, you take out the pros, the cons, and we all know how that works. But to bring about innovation in a company, so to say, can also start with your creative and critical thinking. Now I'm going back to the subject I learned in my semester 2 over here. So over there, I feel like you're always going to have a battle between your creativity and your critical thinking, and something or the other might like have a leverage on each other. Something might be 50% and 50%, or 60 or 40, 70 or 30. So creativity and critical thinking might have a battle in itself, but both of them combined together can start the innovation process. Now, for corporates, I feel that bringing that about in their company can be a challenge for someone who are not very creative in nature, but they might be a little bit more critical. So it depends on the person. So now, if there is a supervisor leading a team of 5 people, I'm sure that after many years of work, that supervisor will know if a person is more creative or critical in their work. So according to their creative or critical nature, they can be assigned certain development work, which could be developing a new product line, or bring about a new service, or bring about a simple change in it, according to their creative or critical talent. So that is how we can start about bringing innovation in the companies as a process in itself. I don't know if that answer made sense, but for me, it starts with these two simple products, which is creativity and critical thinking, combining them in whatever mixture we like, and then we can start the process of innovation in the corporates.
I liked your point about bringing about a simple change. I think bringing about a sequence of several changes, small changes, can
Yes.
actually lead to maybe an innovation,
Yes.
right? Let's hear out views from Neha and Safreen. Neha, over to you.
Sure. So actually, in our coursework, we did study that there is a form of innovation in terms of company process. So yes, I agree with your sentence that like I do agree that innovation can be made into an actual process in companies. So your entrepreneurs are basically those who have innovative ideas, qualities, etc., to bring something new that disrupts the market, right? But an entrepreneur, on the other hand, is what we learn. They do the same thing in a corporate setup. So maybe a particular project or inside their business model or anything like that. Basically, the company's employee themselves who does disrupt the company's model in a positive way. So, like with that in mind, I certainly think that innovation can be a necessity in the company's process as well. Yeah.
Okay, so let me rephrase that question a little bit again for Safreen.
Okay.
Okay, so Safreen, let's say you join a corporate and you work in the innovation department and you have to soon start leading it. Okay, so it cannot happen that you wait for that eureka moment when you go for a walk in the park and suddenly get that once in a lifetime brilliant idea and start working on it. Obviously, because the corporate expects you to come up with several ideas. If required, you can have a team of people whom you can work with, but ensure that you have timely innovative ideas being rolled out. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? How are you going to make a process out of it?
Yeah. Like as a like innovation is like it doesn't, for me it doesn't count in seconds. It's something the long term process. So something we fix that, like in this stage this will be correct. So on that time if we bring that, it will work good. Like I can state this with an example. Like some years back Google bought Google Lens, okay? And the thing is it doesn't go well in that years, but if it is very much pretty much good in this phase of era. So according to the situation, as well as the market position, and as well as the mindset of every people, the thing should be come out in that way. So I may have an everything comes with some of the assumption and intuition and some experience we gained in our life, and also having some mentorship with the professionals, the higher professionals who are past of us. Like they had this thing in the mind to do, but in that stage they couldn't do it. So they might give some insights to us. So everything comes in one basket, and then we decide like whether we fix that in this year, like upcoming years. If we bring this might go well for our company. For our company may reach this position in that time. So like basically it's like kind of we can say example like stock prices. Like if we bring something on the whole, the stock prices bulge up like something. So it is like the innovative perspective about the company. Some new product gets into the company, and there is a change, there is a drastic change, and they update their quarterly financial statements and everything. If they show great profits and everything, and there comes that time the people mindset, they think that even though nothing happened in there, they think that the company has done something innovative. But there is only simple things, simple statements they release about the company, and there is innovation. So I feel that innovation is not a very like as I said earlier, it's not a seconds process. It's like it should be long term. It's a goal which should be fixed, and we have to act according to the strategy which is happening in the situations. So I feel that in such a situation I will lead my team in an innovative manner.
Okay. So what I understood from your statement was, I think you're also looking at it from a marketing angle, not just an innovation angle. So you're saying
Yeah,
whether the product is ahead of its time, will there be a product market fit or not? I think you're thinking
yeah.
from that angle rather than just looking at innovation as innovation. So fair point, although. So let's hear out Rohit if you have to add any views.
Sure, sir. Sir, I actually liked Supreme's thoughts on the long-term goal. So,
Hmm.
as one of the great personality, MS Dhoni told that like a process is what that makes a result that good. So, if you think as a process, it starts with the change, but there's something before that. It's that is also why the reason many companies don't approach innovation in the first place. It's the reason as it's actually why. Like many people, many organizations don't get that why as to they are doing the innovative thing. So as a foundation, if they could get the why as a strong baseline, then it's just a matter of like milestones they could get it up with in a certain period of time. Like if they could achieve that, like which are needed on that period of time. Like if you are looking at a product which has to be launched in 5 years time, if you can get half of the product in another 2.5 years time through various measures and certain deadline achieved, then it's basically a process which has been in the pipeline for like you can also get it done.
Yeah, I think you put it very aptly. In fact, I would go one step forward and say why, what, and how. So once you have these three questions being asked every time, repeatedly, just like a child, you see a young child, they always keep questioning why, why. But as we grow up, somehow when we start going to school and college, we stop questioning and we start following whatever is told to us, right? So that is how we have been brought up. So we have to again start questioning why, and then what and how. Okay, so once we start questioning, I think that brain starts getting accustomed to questioning things and thinking a little more differently. Thank you so much for that, Rohit. So going back to Mishri, what do you think are we doing right in colleges to ensure that we are getting that innovation mindset so that when you transition to a corporate world, you start thinking differently?
Just going back to what you said right now, we've stopped questioning.
Hmm,
The one word for that is curiosity. If you're not
absolutely.
a curious enough person to learn, to know what's happening around you, or to even not pay attention in class, you're not going to learn, and you're not going to, want to make sure you yourself grow. So in order to do that, we have to ask questions, very rightly, like Rohit said, you said. And for that, you have to have that curiosity in you. And so basically, what we can do differently to make sure that, and what our professors can also help us in doing, is make sure, like, long are the days gone where the professors just write something on the board and we copy it down in our copies and learn. There has to be interaction. Like, I myself have, gone through various classes where I was bored because the professor didn't make an effort enough to interact, or we were also not interested because a lack of interaction was there. We were not curious enough. It's not always the professor's fault. Sometimes it's our fault for not being curious enough to learn. So I think interaction and curiosity goes hand in hand over here at a very fundamental level in colleges and schools, which can bring about more innovative ideas, which can help us to think creatively, and also, find out innovative solutions to the smallest problems that they're giving us in class. Like, if they're giving us a case study, or they're giving us a real life example to work upon, make sure that our idea sits differently than the ideas of our peers, so that there are collective innovative ideas in a class of 20. There should be 20 innovative ideas, so that we can combine all of them somehow and bring about something new. So at a very base level, I feel curiosity and making sure we interact with each other can help us, grow further into being an innovative individual when we enter the corporate life.
Lovely. I think you have put it very aptly. So compared to maybe when I was in college 20, 25 years ago, so that time we used to go to college for information. So
Yes.
information was not available. Today, information is not a problem. So you find content and information freely available on the internet. So you just have to just log into Google and start finding. We have got ChatGPT, we have got Google Bard, and so many other information repositories. So that is not a challenge. So as you rightly said, students today should go to college mainly for interacting with each other,
Yes.
collaborating with each other, and finding out
Yes.
solutions jointly, rather than going for notes. So notes is not a problem today, which used to be 20 years ago.
Right now,
Great.
we are hardly given notes. We only use ChatGPT for everything. So that is not an issue now.
Lovely. What a life.
Yes.
Suffering your views. How is college shaping
Yeah.
you up to get ready, corporate ready?
Yeah, the thing is, ChatGPT came from like last year to September, like 2022 September, and till that we don't know there was ChatGPT such thing exists, and we were like doing all our assignments on our own, like Google search and asking from seniors like what is it about and everything. Is that if it is similar, clarify us. So we learned from our seniors in that time, but nowadays it's like pretty much available in everything, especially as she told. I agree with her point totally. Like Mystery said, like the curiosity to learn is important. It's not that which platform is available to learn. You can learn from anything, anywhere, any person. Even the person is younger than you can learn from them. We should not be very much hesitatable position to learn something new. No, it's not the case nowadays. I feel that all people are very much open minded to learn anything from anywhere. And after joining in my university only, I got to know about case study learning and all those stuff. Like real life case studies of the companies are given to mold us. Like this is what the real thing happening. So according to you, what you do in that situation? So that sort of thinking, the problem solving skill. So I feel that we get whatever we get in the chat gpt or bard or not, we get the problem solving skill from those teachers. Like it depends on teachers as well. So one is the case study learning and the problem solving skill, how we see that. Because whatever I have the skill to solve that case study won't be the same with my classmate. It differs. So we learn from them. We learn totally from, like, if it is 63 in my class, I learn from all the 63. So it is like that. And also I feel that we are fresh minds. The fresh minds in the sense we are adaptable to any sort of situation. Like how to say, we are a very easily risk taking person. If we are experienced or something, we will think so much times. But as a fresh mind, fresh people, we just have that guts and adaptability to take that risk and do it. So that is one thing very pretty much I learned in the college. And I would like to share one example which I had in school, which is like the creativity. As Mishti said, the creativity, it comes from there. One thing is, one of my colleague and myself, we submitted an assignment, okay, and it was a pretty simple project. Just you have to write in a chart paper and submit. I wrote in a proper square shaped chart paper and I submitted, and whole class did it in the square shape. Only one, that particular guy did it in the circle shape, and he attached a bow and needled it nicely and he submitted. So that time, my ma'am, that time I got to know what creativity is on my seventh standard. Till that time, I don't know what was creativity, what would be the creativity. No, I don't know about that word only. So on that time, my teachers told this is what, like, thinking something out of the box, thinking something differently from others. So that stands where you are and where you stand in the whole world as such. So there starts a creativity. There starts how you think, how you innovate yourself. So this is how I learned creativity.
Brilliant. I think that was a very nice
Thank you.
example. Uh, uh, I think the learning from that particular example is that it's very important to stand out from the crowd, be very unique. Okay, that's one of the
Yeah.
essences of marketing
Yeah.
as well. How do you create that unique value proposition? How are you unique from the rest
Yeah.
of the crowd? Great, brilliant. Anyone else who wants to contribute?
Honestly, listening to everyone's points is like a little bit you can pick out of everything, which is like that resonates with me particularly. Like, for example, as Safin just said, right, you learn from other people and the interactions with teachers as well, right? To be very honest, I mean, because of COVID, first 2 years were a bust, not really much happening in college, very sad. But then on my third year, I had the chance to really make it and like try everything I could. I personally am a very creative person, but sometimes I get so excited that I have a very one track mind, right? I don't look at other things. And I've been able to create amazing connections, especially juniors, actually. They come up with even more ideas that you don't see. Like, now I'm in my fourth year, but as I was in my third year and I was passing on like one of my events to the juniors, right? Making them the board members and stuff. We asked them, what are your unique ideas? And the ideas, the processes that they wanted to implement were amazing, and there are more people also excited to try out new things this year. So that's genuinely there, and I personally feel like innovation keeps growing as the audience starts growing, right? More and more people come, more and more reasons for innovation to prosper, right? And also, I've just been noticing how Rohit speaks. He mentions specific role models, right? You were mentioning, like, for example, how companies are not yet asking the why, but using role models, we can see what they did uniquely, right? Like, most people think Steve Jobs is the CEO of Apple, that's it, but no one realizes that he was an amazing marketer, and his innovative marketing concepts is what pushed his company this far. Like, that was one of the things that we discuss in detail in our classes, and I was very lucky to have like very nice teachers, like, who gave me the chance to try something new each time. And actually, that's where I discovered my interest for like innovative event management. So we'll see how far that goes, like, trying out unique events where places don't happen. So yeah, to just basically sum up everyone's point, innovation can be found in the tiniest, smallest of places, but that connection makes a major difference.
Brilliant. So you have clubbed together innovation and marketing, just like how I think
Oh
sometime
yes.
back Safreen also
Safrin
talked
did,
about
yeah.
the product market fit. So innovation in isolation may not be useful if you really want to see the outcome. So when positioned properly, like Steve Jobs, in that case, you see success at the end, right? So brilliant.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Rohit, do you want to add something?
Sure, sir. Since we are talking about creativity, I'd like to add something which we in GABS have something. We actually have a year-long course on how, like year-long course on innovative entrepreneurship and research. We have a separate one-year degree. So the entire course is structured in a way that you will get to know, like we've been asked for 1 year, we've been asked to take a problem, then you have to come up with innovative solutions. Like it can be anything, it can be a market problem, it can be anything. So what happened was I actually want to quote or say one point which our professor said that he told that you don't have to travel far along to get a problem. Problem is all around us. It takes a moment to stand and look into that problem is what is the whole process of innovation is all about. You will get tons and tons of ideas. If the problem is one, you will have 10 solutions to that. It is what a perspective is all about. If I might have a perspective of one solution, some other person have some other perspectives on that. So that is what gave birth to. There are almost 180 students in our college, and they have been divided into groups. So everybody came up with a solution such that there were almost 18 new innovative ideas being pitched up to the professors. So the underlying fact is that it is what the creativity and the ability to look into those problems and come out with solutions is what I think what it should be something which we as a future managers should look to incorporate that.
Sure. So Rohit, what are the challenges that you foresee when you transition to a corporate? When you, let's say, you are put in an innovation team, what do you think could be the hiccups? Am I
Like
audible, Rohit?
first thing is that like even yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, like I personally believe that first thing might be that a culture of innovation where people like for like to put in a precise words to bring about that change, because change is something which we people or human beings are resist to. So if you can bring about that change, and even personally me as a manager, if I am into a company, I should be in cultivating that change within myself before I can put it on to next person, or bring about my own points on innovation, or where we can improve as a group or a team. So that is something which I might face challenge, because there are people who are with different mindset and different knowledge levels. So with my experience, if I can give my own thoughts or my perspectives onto that, and if they people have like if they can relate to that, then it's fine. Or else I might have challenged to adapt myself into the role.
Okay. Safrin, what do you think could be the possible challenges that you will face when you enter a corporate entity and start working?
Yeah, like as an innovative lead.
When you are in a team working on innovation, what could be the possible
Okay.
challenges that you foresee that you will encounter? Right now, you are
Yeah.
working in a very closed environment with your own friends and peer group, okay, under the supervision, a
Yeah.
safety net of a professor and principal and so on. But once you are in the wild, going out into the corporate world, the big bad world. So, what do you think could be
Yeah.
the challenges that you foresee?
Yeah. I see that the competition first of all, like
Okay.
whatever I see as innovation might exist in somewhere else also, which I might be aware or I might not be aware of. So one is
Hmm.
competition, and other thing is as Rohit mentioned, the within change. If I am like believing that this is an innovation, and I should have that ability to make my teammates acceptable towards this is innovation. So that acceptability, if I adapt towards myself towards the innovation, I should able to make my team as a lead, I should make my team also to accept it, and I should, the thing is, it won't be accepted by everyone it, at a one go. So I should have the clarified mind towards that innovative thing to make them acceptable and work towards it. And I feel that I should also not only think that my point is correct. No, I should not think like that. I should be able to be in a position that whatever my teammates say, I should incorporate in my work, and whatever my leads, the higher leads, the senior people say, I should also try to incorporate in that thing, because someone's experience is others innovation. I believe that. So I should consider everyone's point. Like for example, like we are in the discussion now. So here I learn lot of things. As of now, I learn lot of things from all these three people, and I feel that like that I should learn. It shouldn't be we are achieving this. No, there is a process of learning involved in each and every phase of innovation. So he rightly mentioned, like believe the process, not the outcome. So if we believe the process, trust is one thing which is very important. If we trust the process, the outcome will be automatically good. It is applicable not only in the lead to make the innovation, but also in the real life when we head towards something new and everything. It is applicable. So the process, trusting the process, is one of the innovation. So this sort of challenges might be, according to me, I might face.
All right. Taking that point forward, so what Rohit and Safreen have already told, Mishri. So I'm just wanting to add on something there. So one challenge could be like, Safreen said, I want to convince my team and make them believe that this is possible. Great. But here in college, you've got people who are almost your age, same class, peer group, maybe staying in the hostel together and so on. But when you're entering the big bad world, the corporate world, you will have a multi-generation workforce working with you. Some people who are three times your age, some people who are almost your age, at different locations, at different positions, designations, geographies, right? So, don't you? What could be the challenges, not just related to the topics that I told you, but beyond that? Can you think of something else as well?
I was actually just going to talk about whatever you mentioned. From competition, the next thing I can think of is support.
Hmm.
Like, not everyone is of the same mindset as you are, not everyone has come from the same background as you. So, there might be people who are, so to say, more modern or a bit more conservative. So, there is where support comes in the picture. Like, there are so many people in the same position as you, who will like try competing when the appraisal season comes up. So during the appraisal season, you never know what people might or might not do to like get an appraisal, even 1% more than you. So that is how the corporate world lives and breathe what it breathes on. So you might not get support for each and everything. Your boss might not give you a push for each and everything. So that is something that I see as a major challenge, because not all your ideas will be welcomed, and that is something very hard, a very big bite to gulp, but we will have to gulp it somehow and make sure that digest it as well, so that we can overcome that as well, and that can be overcome by like embracing change, and making sure that they also like understand what we are trying to say. Effective communication is one of the key stakeholders over here, to make sure that wherever there is resistance to change, like Rohit mentioned, and wherever there is competition or there is a lack of supportive culture, you communicate, you make sure that at the end of the day they understand what you're trying to say, and maybe in the near future they might or might not let you do that. So yeah, that is a major challenge I foresee in the corporate world.
Super. So I think you have put it very, very correctly, accurately. So there's going to be resistance to change for various reasons. One could be multi-generation, could be competition due to appraisals and promotions, internal. Also, obviously, like the work culture, as you said, some bosses may not support some ideas. So all that is going to happen. So it's going to be really harsh. So the earlier we realize it, better it is. Great. So Neha, just taking that question forward and tweaking it a little bit, how do you think in the business setting innovation would be measured? What are those metrics, key metrics? What you think as of now, what you foresee? You're on mute, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so first speaking from a general company's mindset, the you always look into influential stakeholders, right? So that'll be starting from who you're catering to, right? Your customers, at the back end, your suppliers, and people within the company, and those who invest in your company, right? So essentially, I'm summing it down to these four categories. So innovation is for every single touch point, right? It's not just for the customer, it's also for your investors, for your employees, you as the employer, and also for your suppliers and other influential factors, right? So in terms of metrics, you have your usual metrics, right? Like, simply put, innovation means if you do something that's positive, you're going to get more customers. So there is stuff like conversion rate and other factors like that, right? So I personally think that these metrics can work as innovation metrics as well if you just start to look into them in more depth and collect more data for the same. And from an innovative standpoint, I think it's a little subjective to each company and each industry it is in, also the type of innovation you're doing. So if something like a business model innovation, you're going to look at it in the sense how effective has it been in a given time period. That would be a good metric. But if it's a product innovation, you're going to have your field testing, then your actual sending out of the product. So each type of innovation will probably have its own unique metric, which is subjective to the company and the industry it works in. So the question you ask, I personally think, does not have a straight objective answer. It's a very diverse and very subjective answer pertaining to each company.
All right. Great. So, Safreen, what's your wish list when you join a corporate? How do you think a company should ideally have or encourage an innovation culture?
Yeah, sir. Nowadays the placement season is going on. Okay, so like when we attend it, like they give up. The companies have this mindset. They give a pre-placement talk when we get shortlisted initially. So at that time itself, we can get to know about one company, how it is, and how it is taking and everything. I don't want to disclose any company name, but still, one of the company, I was very much impressed by that pre-placement talk. They have the employees who are also with disability. They have built the office infrastructure. The whole office infrastructure is in such a way that even the disabled people with all their what is it, the wheelchair and everything, they can travel and they can sit, I mean they can have their own things and everything. So it's like a dual way, like they treated those sort of employees also very equally in a very subtle manner. So in the pre-placement talk itself, we can get to know like how the company is and what sort of the company that is. So that time I felt that they respect their employees, which is the first thing, which is very much important. Not everyone will be able to listen like what we are saying, but a person or a company, it depends on individual also as a company. If they have ears open out to listen to their employees, that is one such big advantage for the individual as an employee joining a company. So the respect should come. And also I feel that uh, for in the hiring process, we tell whatever we are not able to also, just because we have to get hired, and after we go, we do something else. And I feel that how we should be very much honest and trustable, that company is trusting us, and the same way we should give our side trust also, right? This thing I feel that only these sort of employee dilemma happens only in these things, like we are not disclosing like whatever we are supposed to disclose to them. So that is that one of the wish list I have, that company should accept me with all sort of abilities I have, with all sort of lacking things I have also. So they should be in a position to whatever I lack, they should be in a position to train me accordingly. They should have that patience, what to say, even we should have that interest and the fast grabbing capacity and everything, but also I feel that they should have the patience to take us and mold us in such a way to give the training accordingly. So I, my wish list is, first thing is respect towards the employee. Second thing is the proper training and day by day learning process also should involve in the company. Just we that join and we work, we go, it shouldn't be such a way. If we give something, I expect some knowledge from them as well, I expect some learning from them as well. So I expect myself that I should grow, like I shouldn't be stagnant in the same position, only these things I know to work in this company. No, I should know the overall thing, what is happening. That learning procedure also should be carried out in that company. So I feel that learning is the major thing.
Thank you for your inputs. I think I can relate that first point very well to innovation. An
Yeah,
organization which encourages inclusivity and
yeah,
allows people from different maybe genders, different kind of abilities, different
yeah,
challenges. Those companies are hearing their employees, and I'm sure they are
yes,
quite open to innovation as well, open to ideas, open to listening to new ideas. So I think that's a fantastic point that you brought in. So we should look
yes,
at those pointers when we select an organization to work for. Lovely. Thank you so much.
yes.
Rohit, anything that you want to share about your wish list? An organization which is going to encourage innovation. At the end of the day, the topic is about innovation and how can organizations help people to innovate, think differently, and obviously add value to the organization.
Sure, sir. So, what I'm looking for is, the first thing is a good working environment, because I believe that a good working environment could actually boost your mental well-being, which obviously at the ultimately to lead to the productivity of the company. So, if a company could provide me such a space, it automatically helps me to come up with much more innovative thoughts, which I could contribute to the organization. So at the end, it auto, like if you think about in a much more complete sense, it at the end the organization is what is being benefited to. And apart from that, I would like, they as a organization, like if they can come, like they can prepare me, or if they could come up with maybe okay, obviously I'm not a experienced guy, I'm a fresher who's going into the company. So if the organization could bring that factor into that and allow me to make some mistakes, but the intention should be to make better mistakes. So if
Make
they
newer mistakes.
can, like, not that brings the downfall of the company, but yeah, some better mistakes that which ultimately helps me as a person to be a better one. So, like, as over experience comes into the picture, I can contribute much more than what I started, than what, like, from what I've been starting in the company.
Sure. As I always say, make newer mistakes, don't repeat the same mistakes. So just
Right.
parallel to what you said, make better mistakes. So make newer mistakes. So we have to keep learning from our mistakes and don't do those mistakes again, but make new mistakes. That's fine. Yeah. So being mindful of time, let me sum up what we discussed today. We had a fantastic discussion, lovely points made by each of you, loads of learning for me. So one, the first point, I think the opening was a very dashing statement. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life. Lovely. The second point is about how the future is going to be in education. Our avatars going to college, and we merely seeing maybe the key points and seeing how to apply those learnings. Third is not to stagnate. Innovation is a process, and we have to keep the ideas, creative ideas, flowing. We need to be unique. Someone said we need to be really unique and stand out from the crowd. Innovating a product is not always necessary. Innovation doesn't mean suddenly coming out with a new product which is not there in the world. Innovation can be done in small ideas, small processes, one small step at a time, which can lead to a larger change So that also can be innovation. 2 points I think which Mishri raised about being creative and being critical. So I think that that's a good takeaway. Many of you were trying to connect marketing and innovation together, obviously, because something that is not successful would not make sense. So you need to have some clarity in mind whether what you are innovating is really useful for mankind right now, not something which is maybe useful after 100 years. Okay, so something which is useful right now. So that innovation should make sense as well. So that is one thing you people spoke about. Something which is more long term as well, sustainable. That was a word somebody used. Something that is sustainable, not something which is very fancy and fad for a very short term. So that should not be the goal of innovation. We should continuously ask questions, be curious like children, why, what, and how. Be kids again if we want to really be innovators. Okay, get our child wala mindset back. Information is free, so students don't go to college for information. They go to apply, they go to collaborate with people and start applying what they've learned. So it's not about just note making, it's more about application based now. And competition seems to be a challenge for people. I mean, all of you are thinking that once you are in the corporate, competition could be a challenge. Challenge could come from colleagues who are competing with you internally as well. And maybe bad bosses who don't want to encourage you to work on some brilliant ideas. Or maybe bosses who don't understand your ideas, could be either way. And colleagues from across generations. You are 25, your colleagues could be 45, 55, 65, different ages. So making them understand and working together with all these people, multi-generation workforce, that could also be a challenge, some of you said. Resistance to change, probably because of coming from different backgrounds, people may have issues with your ideas, but at the same time, being young managers, you have to drive them, collaborate with them, and yet make your ideas successful. So how to find out such an organization? Some interesting points. Look at organizations which are inclusive and willing to accommodate people from different kinds of backgrounds. So those organizations generally might be very open to innovative ideas. And the last one was a big one. Keep making mistakes, but make new mistakes, better mistakes, as Rohit said. So,
Actually, I like that.
Uh, very nice.
Thank you.
yeah, I think that's a very important point also for me as well, because we all have been brought up in an environment where success seems to be the only focus. Failing is considered a taboo. But I think making mistakes, failing is also something which we should look at a very, very healthy thing to do and learn from those mistakes and keep getting better. Right. So with this, I will close and I thank you all again for this lovely discussion.